This Health Ranger Report Pandemic Podcast is brought to you by NaturalNews.com for uncensored reporting and HealthRangerStore.com for lab-tested preparedness supplies such as storable food, full-face medical masks, biostructured silver first aid gel, and iodine, only while supplies last. Saturday, March 21st, Pandemic.News update. This is Mike Adams. Today, we have crossed a threshold with Los Angeles County announcing that they will no longer test for the coronavirus, that it's so widespread, it's so out of control, that all they can do now is wait for the surge to overrun the hospitals and try to keep as many people alive as possible. That strategy is called mitigation. It is basically a surrender to the virus. No more containment in Los Angeles. I mean, think about that, folks. Think about it. If any of you listening are still in the city of Los Angeles, which you shouldn't be, if you've heard my podcast for the last couple of years, I've been, of course, actively encouraging people to bug out of the cities because they would be death traps. Los Angeles is about to become, a zombie apocalypse. That's not even the right term. I don't know how to say it. The wave of mass death and violence and looting that's going to overtake Los Angeles will be biblical. And I remember it was only a month ago that I was being texted and in some cases called by people that I previously considered my friends in Los Angeles who were telling me, stop scaring people. Stop talking about the coronavirus. Stop your doom and gloom. It's no big deal. It's just the flu. It's going to go away, right? So those people are now living in a county that has just decided to stop testing, which means, again, they've given up on even figuring out who has this. And by the way, the number of new infections reported by Los Angeles will go to 0. So I guess the deniers can then say, look, there's 0 infections in Los Angeles, just like there's 0 infections in Wuhan right now. Well, if you stop testing everybody, yeah, you can report 0. While the mass deaths and the mass burials or cremations kick in, you're going to have a plume of ash over Los Angeles from the cremations of dead bodies like you had a plume over Wuhan. That's where this is headed. No joke. And it now looks extremely unlikely that America will exit this pandemic with anything less than 1 million deaths, given how rapidly the numbers are just exploding. Over 20,000 infections reported so far in the United States, about a third of those in New York City alone. But at least New York City is still trying to test and contain people and isolate people, which is the only way to solve this. That's how South Korea solved it. I guess Los Angeles has just said, well, F it. I don't know. Maybe it's a California thing. I don't know. But for those of you listening outside of Los Angeles, rural California, and we love you. We know there's a great number of listeners in Northern California in particular, and you are in a good position now to be geographically far away from the city of Los Angeles. And if you are in Los Angeles, your ability to bug out, I think, has passed. I think that's over. And you may be watching the end of Los Angeles as we know it. I mean, heck, we may be watching the end of America as we know it. That's hard to say. But I'm not sure the country survives this as it's currently structured. I'm not sure the banking system survives this, but I can tell you for damn sure you don't survive this by stopping all testing and halting all quarantines and just declaring, whatever, just going to burn through herd immunity. Yeah, you know how many people have to get infected before you achieve herd immunity with a virus like this, a very high R0 value? I've run projections on this. You have to get to about 83% immunity in order to have herd immunity. So how do you get to 83% immunity? Well, I guess you do what Los Angeles is doing. Just let everybody get infected. Now, Did you know that the world fatality rate right now for this is 11%? So of all the cases that have been covered across all the countries that have been concluded, the death rate is 11% and the recovery rate is 89%. Now, that doesn't mean that in the end, the death rate is going to be 11%. Hopefully, it's lower. But do you realize what's going to happen to Los Angeles if the death rate is even 3%? And probably it's going to be much closer to the Italy death rate, which is 5 or 6%, given the unhealthy lifestyles of the American people, including those in Los Angeles, the sedentary lifestyles, the highly inflammatory junk food diets, the mass medication, the rampant obesity, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and other comorbidity factors, as they're called. Los Angeles, what's the population of LA? I'm not looking it up right now, but let's just say it's 10 million people. So, and if even half get infected, 5 million people, then a 1% death rate would be 50,000 dead. So a 3% death rate would be 150,000 dead. And I'm not sure LA is prepared for that, because LA is on the verge of being overrun by gangs on any given day. And it's not hard to see a scenario where the frontline responders and police officers and EMTs and so on, firefighters even, get infected and they start losing their numbers. Actually, that's already started. I should mention. And then how do you stop LA from breaking down into gang looting chaos? And the only answer to that, which is coming, by the way, is to bring in the National Guard and have martial law in Los Angeles. So those of you in LA, you will experience martial law firsthand. You will live through a chapter of martial law in America. Tanks, maybe not tanks, say armored personnel carriers on the streets. And you'll beg for it. See, I've mentioned this before. When the chaos comes, you will beg for martial law because you don't want gangbangers running around raiding homes. You will beg for martial law because the soldiers will be the only remaining order that is left in the city of Los Angeles. And a similar scenario may come to San Francisco and Seattle. And in fact, Governor Cuomo of New York has already been begging the president to deploy the army in New York City and other areas of New York. And it looks like that has begun. The U.S., the Army Corps of Engineers, I believe, is being deployed. And that's probably going to scale up quite significantly in the next few weeks or a couple of months. Now, how does this end? By the way, how does this end? According to the Imperial College report that has been circulating lately, this doesn't end until there's a vaccine or an antiviral pharmaceutical that can be widely distributed to people. So it doesn't end in 8 weeks, because even if, let's say, Los Angeles goes under a quarantine lockdown, shelter in place, don't leave your homes, let's say, for 8 weeks, even if you do that, if you lift that after 8 weeks, the reinfections begin. And this is what's happening in China right now. The reinfections are now being reported and experienced and observed, even if China itself is lying about it, covering it up. So according to the Imperial College report, this thing lasts 18 months of quarantines and lockdowns and martial law in the cities until there's a vaccine. And then only the vaccine saves people. Now, isn't that an interesting narrative, right? Everybody suffer and die until the vaccine saves you. What if the vaccine doesn't work? Well, the only survivors will really be long-term people who are into nutrition and good health, which is what we've been promoting, of course, for 20 years. Antivirals, superfoods, vitamins, minerals, zinc, selenium, vitamin C, vitamin D3, magnesium, all these things. That's how you stay alive as society is collapsing around you. So if there were ever a time to learn about nutrition, this is it. Thankfully, you probably already know more about nutrition than most people in society. So pat yourself on the back for being ahead of the curve on that. That's a good job for doing that. But there's a lot of hell coming for the people of Los Angeles, the people of Seattle, New York City, San Francisco, probably Denver, probably Atlanta, as the number of cases really expands there as well. So keep all this in mind, folks, and stay prepared, stay informed, stay ahead of the curve if you can. Pandemic.news is the website. My name's Mike Adams. I'm in rural Texas in self-quarantine with loads of antiviral herbs and thousands of pounds of expired foods that got dumped on me from my warehouse. So I have literally thousands of pounds of organic oats, organic almonds, and things that expired that are perfectly edible that I can't legally sell, that I had been feeding to my donkeys until now. And now I'm sitting on that food. I guess I'm going to have almond oatmeal through the apocalypse. That's kind of what it looks like. With goji berries and chia seeds too. I've got that. So if you wonder what I'm eating, it's expired donkey food. Yep, there you go. Thank you for listening. Mike Adams here, the Health Ranger, pandemic.news. When it comes to prepping, you not only need good products that can help keep you alive, awake, aware, and nourished during difficult times, you also need products you can trust. At the Health Ranger store, we do extensive laboratory testing using an in-house lab that's ISO accredited. It's inspected, it's audited. It's a 2-year process to even get that accreditation. We use multiple mass spec instruments, state-of-the-art science. I'm a published science author as well and a patent holder on several technologies, some of which we use variations of in our lab. The purpose of this lab is to help you make sure you get clean foods, superfoods, storable foods for emergency preparedness and survival use. We have a certified organic lab-tested, what's called Ranger Bucket collection of storable foods with some survival gear in the buckets to help you even boil water and cook those foods and so on. It's a fantastic product. We can barely keep it in stock even during normal times. In a crisis, we'll be wiped out of this product because it actually takes us a lot of time to make those products. But if they're in stock, you can get them now at healthrangerstore.com/prepwithmike. In fact, go to that URL, healthrangerstore.com/prepwithmike, and you'll see some of our survival and preparedness supplies, including iodine, colloidal silver products and gel first aid products, storable foods, superfoods, medicinal herbs for first aid, and much more. We have a lot of products for you to help you be self-reliant, to be safe, to survive difficult circumstances, natural disasters, and all kinds of things. If you want to get prepared, do it with us at the Health Ranger store so that you know you're getting safe, clean, laboratory-verified preparedness foods, supplements, and other related products. Again, the URL is healthrangerstore.com/prepwithmike. All one word, no spaces. Prep with Mike. I'm Mike Adams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.